I recently watched one of my favorite movies again, Saturday Night Fever, starring John Travolta in 1977. And basically, this is a disco movie. I love disco music, but specifically this time around, I watched it with a different lens because now I have this YouTube channel. And I wanted to do this video because there's 7 things that every man should learn from this video, 6 specifically on how to have a mindset from 1977 that every man needs to have today. But stick around to the end because I'm also going to go over the critical weaknesses that John Travolta had in that movie. All right, if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Kane. I'm the Silver Bachelor. This channel is 100% dedicated to dating advice for older guys and the women that want to understand them. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and the notification button because I drop videos every week. But first, I officially launched my new clothing line, Silver is Sexy, and this is my first piece, this Cafe Racer inspired motorcycle jacket. It's lambskin and took over 120 hours to make. 3 factories over a year for me to finally get this perfect. And look at the details on this jacket. Isn't it awesome? There's actually 84 hand-done ribs around the jacket on the arms, full wrapping around the entire arms, the shoulders, lower back, and I have a metal plate on the back. But look, I don't want to bore you with this pitch on the jacket. It is super cool, as you can see, and you can get yours. And in fact, I'm going to give away 50 of these pieces for 50% off. I'll drop a link in the comment that you can check it out. So remember, 50% off for only the first 50 pieces that I'm going to make. And the coupon code, if you're curious, which is also going to be in the description, is Founder50. All right, let's get into this movie, or excuse me, this video. I'm stuck on the movie, Saturday Night Fever. All right, man. So if you have not seen that movie, you have to check it out. And if you have seen it, but it's been a minute since you've seen it, you need to rewatch it because every man can learn a thing or two from John Travolta's character, specifically 6 out of the 7 things that I've spoken about. And number 7, that's the most critical one that I want to go over, his specific weaknesses. All right, let's get into this movie. So number 1, body language. Throughout the entire movie, John Travolta had bad boy vibes, okay? And women ultimately go for the bad boy. That's one of the reasons why I made this jacket, because it fucking is bad boy, all right? And women love the bad boy. They do not like the nice guy. They just kick the nice guy to the side. And I'm sorry, guys, if you're going along through life thinking women just love nice guys, okay, sure, you have to be respectful. But at the end of the day, they like a guy who beats their own drum, prioritizes themselves, and checks their bad behavior. And John Travolta, his character was all of that, all right? He was confident, even though his character was 19 years old. Different time back then, 1977, okay? And he was even a little arrogant. He dressed well. He wore fitted clothes. And one scene actually that blew my mind, he was sitting at the dinner table with his family, okay? And he was getting ready to go out, but he was going to have dinner first. He had the sheet over his new shirt because he didn't want to get his shirt dirty, all right? So his hygiene and his grooming was on point, okay? And he was clean shaven. Obviously, he had good hair. I don't have any hair. But all these things gave him this persona of a bad boy, all right? And he took very good care of himself. Number 2, cold approach. Okay, there was no dating apps back in 1977, and men had to cold approach. And from the opening scene of the movie, he's checking out women and he approaches a woman from the back. He goes to the side and then he steps right in front of her and she's trying to get by him. And he's just like looking at her, right? And he just had this confidence. And so cold approach, few men cold approach today. It's super bad. I remember watching the Whatever podcast, and they were going around asking all the women on the podcast, and there was like, I don't know, 10 very attractive young women. And he was asking them, how many times a week do you get cold approach? Not catcalled, not whistles or anything, but actually a dude coming up to you. And they said maybe once or twice a week. So that's an opportunity for you. Compared to dating apps, it's 70% dudes. Women are only going for the top 20% of men. And the average woman average on a dating app is getting 50 to 100 likes per day. And a firefighter who I met, and he was all proud of this, and he got like 5 likes per day on a dating app, and like the average woman it's insane the attention she gets. So anyways, back to the movie. Back in 1977, men had no choice but the cold approach. And I don't know why, but men today are little bitches. They're afraid to go up to women for whatever damn reason, and they can't take rejection. It's absolutely pathetic. So I challenge you guys to start working on your cold approach, and who cares what she thinks? But you need to do it right. Watch more of my videos on that topic. But yeah, John Travolta was a beast when it came to cold approach, and he didn't even overthink it either. He was just like, boom, I like her ass, I like the way she looks, whatever, and straight up went right up to her, okay? So he had no fear. He asked her out quickly, and he showed sexual intent, all right? Now, number 3 is shit tests. Every single woman is going to shit test you. And you might be thinking, Super Bachelor, I hate playing games, and why did women play games? Think of it like in the animal kingdom, okay? Female lions, they shit test, to say it like that. The male lion, what do I mean? How does this have to do with male lions and female lions, okay? When I say shit test, what the female lion does is she nips him. She nips him here and there just to test. Are you still masculine? Are you still alpha? Are you still the pride? Are you the alpha of the pride, right? Do you still got it? Do you still have the reaction time? That's what I mean. It's different with humans, but all women will shit test you. They will shit test you to test all kinds of things. They shit testing you to test, are you going to freak out when she says something? So therefore, I can't be safe with this guy. When she says something, are you going to be masculine enough to take it on the chin and laugh it off? Or how are you going to react to what I say and challenging you in whatever ways? Well, John Travolta was a damn master in this movie on the shit test. He basically laughed them off, brushed them off, he deflected. And for example, sometimes she was like this one woman that he was really interested in. She kept like shit testing him and shit testing him and shit testing him. And then he turns around and says, are you always this busy, bitchy? Right? Or he says, yeah, she says, oh, you're not my type. And he's like, yeah, you're not really my type anyways. And so women are going to shit test you and in fact, the more attractive she is, and maybe even the more attracted she is to you, she's going to shit test. And all you need to do, laugh it off, have a witty comeback, and just not take it seriously, deflect, or say something that's exaggerating. She says, oh, are you a player? And you say, yeah, I play every week with my friends. I love chess, as an example. Not the best example, but you know what I mean? Do not take anything seriously that she says to you as a shit test, and just deflect it, exaggerate, and do exactly what John Travolta did in that movie. And he was an absolute master. But most importantly, when you get shit tested, don't get mad, because that's what one of the things that she's testing for. Is he going to get mad? Is he going to have a titty attack? And is it going to make me unsafe? And is it going to show that he has no control over his emotions? Okay, so that's what he did really well. Number 4 is to don't give a fuck attitude. And yeah, he didn't give a fuck. He just walked up to these girls. One of the girls in the movie was really, really into him. And he wasn't very nice to her because he didn't give a fuck. He was very selfish in a sense. And you need to be more selfish about yourself and prioritize yourself and not women. And I watch 90 Day Fiancé sometimes, and all these guys are thirsty simps prioritizing women. And that's their whole objective and mission in life, is to be married and have a girlfriend. Like, what the fuck? No, your mission and your priority should be on you and your goals, making money, doing better for society, helping people out, and building an empire, not women ever, all right? And so right, so John Travolta just had this attitude with basically any women that he came across in the movie. Number 5 is you cannot be perfect. And John Travolta showed weaknesses, okay? And one of the weaknesses he showed was he got outdanced. In the final competition, these Puerto Ricans did better than him. And it was kind of a baked thing where the nightclub loved John Travolta and they gave him the first prize, but he didn't deserve it. He knew it. And he said to the girl he was with, he's like, you know what? They were better than me. They deserve the first prize. Gave the Puerto Ricans the first prize and the prize money. And she really liked that, the character, anyways, in the movie. So you can't be perfect around women. You have to have weaknesses. But some of those weaknesses, a lot of men are too vocal about their damn weaknesses. Talking about weaknesses, I'm 5'7", okay? I am bald. I'm 52. Some people would think, yeah, those three things are weaknesses. I don't talk about those things at all. Whenever I have a girlfriend now, but whenever I was single, and I've been on hundreds of dates, guys, and I had to learn this the hard way. You don't talk about your weaknesses, but you can talk about, for example, I'm in marketing, and one of my weaknesses is not being a great salesperson. I'm a great marketer, but not a great salesperson. And I've mentioned that sometimes in my dates. I'm like, yeah, I could work on my closing skills kind of thing. That's what I mean about revealing weaknesses, but not talking about the fact that you wish you had hair or you wish you were 6 feet tall or any of that bullshit and nonsense. Okay, number 6 is he never once that I can recall, and you guys drop a comment, he never once complimented any of the women in the movie on her beauty, which I thought was interesting. And you guys always are complimenting women on their beauty. You match on a dating app and you're like, oh, you're so beautiful. You meet them for a coffee date and you're like, oh, you're so beautiful. You only need to say something once, and that's when you meet her for the first time. You could say, you look at her after the first hug when you meet her, you could say, you can pause there, pull back a bit, and look at her and go, you are very interesting. The less you compliment her, the more she's going to be impressed because you have self control and you're not thirsty. And women ultimately don't really give much of a shit about your compliments. They care more about women's compliments to them than men. And the more compliments you give them, the more secure they're going to get, the more on a pedestal you put her, and she's going to see it ultimately as a turnoff. And like I said, I can't recall once hearing John Travolta in this movie complimenting a woman on her beauty. And last but not least, he had some serious weaknesses. And I advise you guys to pay attention to this part. So saved kind of the best for last because the other things are pretty obvious, I think. But these weaknesses are critical, and make sure you do not have those in your dating game, right? Whether you're divorced or not. So let's get into this in no particular order. So ultimately, the girl that he really liked, he chased her, and she didn't want him. Don't be chasing. If a woman ultimately doesn't want you, fine, bye, because there's plenty of fish in the sea, and worst case, you can pay for it, all right? Number 2 is he got fired for the girl that he liked. Yeah, she was moving, and it wasn't her moving day. Her moving day was on a Saturday, but she said, "Look, I'm thinking to bring some of my stuff over on a Wednesday." And John Travolta worked at this paint shop, and he said to his boss, he's like, "Look, I really need this day off." And he's like, "No, you can't take that day off. We need you here." And he's like, "Well, I really need it." And he's like, "Well, if you leave, you're fired." And he left on the Wednesday to help this girl move that he really liked, and he got fired. Guys, don't ever sacrifice like that. Anything in your life for any woman, okay? It's different when you're married, I understand, but to lose your job over any woman, hell no. So pay attention to that. Number 2, or excuse me, number 3, excuse me. He didn't have any goals. So one of the woman that was really interested in him noticed this. And yes, okay, he was 19, but he had no goals. She's like, "What are you going to do? You're just going to dance?" And again, shit test, but it was true. He didn't really react, but it was true, man. You guys, whatever the damn goal is, come up with something, okay? Women can't stand being with a guy who has no goals or ambition. Number 4 is that he couldn't save money. His paycheck, he just blew it every weekend. So don't be that guy, all right? Number 5, he didn't know basic shit, okay? So she was sometimes asking him or saying, "Oh, I met with Paul Anka," or "I met with this other guy," whatever. And he didn't know who the celebrities were, like some basic knowledge of stuff going on in the world and actors and movies, whatever. So just pay attention. Larry King, by the way, was a master when he was interviewing people. Just in general, he was always up on, who won the last soccer game in the World Cup, who won the Super Bowl, basic things because it comes up in conversations. So he was actually pretty dumb. And so don't be like his character and pretty dumb. And last but not least, 2 more points. He asked for approval one time, because he was insecure. And he was insecure because the girl that he was really interested in, he started showing some weaknesses of insecurity, and this never do this. He would ask her, "Do you think I'm interesting and intelligent?" Why the hell would you ask any woman if she finds you interesting or intelligent? Do not ask any woman any like that question. Don't ask a woman if she thinks you look younger than your age or some bullshit like that. Again, do not ask women questions around your potential insecurities because it's a turn off to them. But the last thing I want to leave you with, and thank you for sticking around this long because this is probably the most important of the whole movie, is he did not respect women's boundaries, and he basically SA'd a woman in the back seat. She kept saying no, and he kept pushing, and then eventually he stopped. Don't ever do that. And there was a really bad R situation with this one girl in the back seat, and he just sat there and didn't man up and stop these two guys from R-ing her in the back seat. And I was appalled. I was absolutely appalled. I forgot about that scene. So respect women's boundaries when it comes to sex, when it comes to their not wanting to be touched, whatever. And if it's, obviously if you're dating and it's becoming more of a problem, she just doesn't want affection and she doesn't want to have sex to the same RPM as you and vibration as you, then maybe you're just not meant to be together. But do not ever force yourself on a woman. All right. Hope you liked this video. We'll see you next time.